Hey everyone, welcome back to another explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into a wildly imaginative, highly allegorical story. It's called The False Flame and the Antichrist by Tapi Haltu. Now, let me tell you, this isn't your everyday dystopian tale. We're talking an explosive, surreal mix of deep theology, weird magic, and gritty, high-stakes cosmic action. So rather than just giving you a standard point-by-point plot summary, we're going to explore this by looking at the ultimate clash between two completely opposing forces. Because this story asks a massive, kind of mind-bending question. What actually happens when high-tech, global mind control collides with ancient demonic magic and divine intervention? It's a world where technology and the occult are literally weaponized to deceive the masses. And honestly, the only defense left is unshakable faith.
All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the Antichrist's global plot.
Okay, so what is absolutely fascinating about our main villain Endeavor Mark is his strategy. The author merges slick, modern technology with ancient occult artifacts to manufacture this completely fake religious revival in the North. Mark doesn't just use dark magic, right? He flies around in a jumbo jet bought from a tax safe, casually sipping a Black Mary on ice. He uses a shady production company called Picturewood to literally manufacture fake miracles. We're talking satellite Valkyries, projecting massive holograms and booming sounds from the sky to just awe the public. And underneath it all, a supercomputer called the Beast is speaking directly into the minds of microchip citizens, turning them into these puppet-like prophets. Oh, and he carries a red snake staff, topped with a black pearl, just to complete the whole supervillain vibe. But, beneath that shiny high-tech veneer, it is pure ancient darkness. The surrealism in this world building is just off the charts. Mark literally commands a secret wizard's guild from a blood-soaked skull throne while speaking backwards Latin. Picture this. He's driven in a bulletproof limo to a cliff face that opens up like a giant mouth glowing with blood-red light. Inside this massive bone crypt, he's dancing like a maniac across a checkered floor to blaring death metal. And if that wasn't weird enough, blood is literally defying gravity, dripping upwards into a glowing dinosaur skull hanging from the ceiling. It is vividly, terrifyingly bizarre.
Which brings us to Section 2, Cult of the Goat's Cross.
So, you might be wondering, how does this massive global conspiracy actually trickle down to normal people? Well, it hits the local level through a corrupted church called the Temple of the Goat's Cross. It's led by this super corrupt preacher named Lars Across, and Lars uses deep psychological manipulation plus these dark spell books hidden inside fake Bibles to completely control his congregation. The imagery here is so wild. The church has this aquarium cross filled with dyed water, fighting fish, and literal piranhas. Lars is up there reciting the Lord's Prayer backwards with a skull rosary, while the temple ceiling shoots gold dust onto the crowd from cannons. The whole thing is a totally fabricated, intoxicating experience fueled by hallucinogenic oils.
And the crucial takeaway here is how this demonic infrastructure is literally intoxicating the entire town of Arvavara. Check this out. Lars takes an elevator shaped like a giant bony hand all the way down to a subterranean club on floor 666, complete with the bar counter made of human skin. Guided by a demonic voice in his own microchip, he blows into this massive bone horn. It acts like a giant foghorn, releasing this thick, mind-altering fog straight out of the sewers. The villagers breathe it in, and they start hallucinating these beautiful fairies, which are actually ugly spirits whispering lies into their ears. Completely under this spell, they just willingly herd themselves into black trucks driven by microchip soldiers.
This perfectly sets up the core conflict of the whole story. You've got this massive, wildly wealthy, high-tech, demonic machinery of the villains, and it's heavily contrasted with the grounded, gritty, faith-driven world of our heroes, Toivo and Hana, who also goes by Elisa. While Mark has tax haven jets, holograms, and these sprawling underground temples, Toivo and Elisa are operating out of a poor, rundown house on the rocky outskirts of the village. No immense wealth, no fancy tech. Literally all they have is each other, their prayers, and the Book of Revelation.
Moving on to Section 3, the Heavenly Resistance.
Facing down this literal army of darkness, Toivo and Elisa receive a singular, incredibly desperate mandate directly from Christ. Their mission? Rescue the blind sheep of their village. And it is physically grueling and deeply symbolic. They have to climb a massive mountain where Mark's black helicopters have planted a giant golden cross, tear that false idol down, and put a simple wooden cross in its place. But of course, before they can even start climbing, they have to survive. Black angels literally start screaming and breaking down their front door.
In response, this massive pulse of divine light bursts out from Toivo and Elisa. It vaporizes the Dark Angels into sparks and completely blows up one of those black transport trucks into a massive fireball. They manage to escape through a dark ravine, their clothes now radiating brilliant light. And just like that, the story pivots from this huge global conspiracy to an incredibly intimate, high-stakes survival mission.
That takes us to Section 4, the perilous mountain climb. Now, the structure of this 400-meter vertical climb is just brutally tragic. They're wearing camo gear and gas masks to survive the toxic air, and they actually find a brief moment of peace at the 100-meter mark inside a stalactite cave. But the second they take off their masks to rest, absolute horror strikes. A massive black vulture attacks Toivo, viciously tearing out his eyes. He loses his balance and plummets into the misty abyss. It's heartbreaking. Elisa is left there, screaming in horror, weeping for hours. She eventually finds his silver pendant with his wedding ring and a green cross, realizes the birds stole their supplies, and comes to the chilling realization that she has to do the rest of this agonizing climb completely alone.
Pushing through just unimaginable grief, she finally reaches the summit, only to be immediately swarmed by a flock of red-eyed ravens. She manages to dig up a hidden stash Toivo left behind, and using Molotov cocktails, torches, and just raw willpower, she creates a literal ring of fire to drive the screeching birds back. Now, fueled by this mix of escalating rage and profound sorrow, she arms herself with a sniper rifle and a bunch of dynamite from a wooden chest. She is ready to finally take down that cross, setting the stage for the ultimate showdown.
And here we are, Section 5, Sacrifice and Final Victory. Right as Elisa prepares to blow up the cross, the entire scale of the story just explodes into this cosmic, divine response. We're talking millions of angels suddenly singing Hosanna from the heavens as divine intervention shatters the demonic stronghold. A massive white eagle swoops down from a newly radiant sky, grabs the golden cross with its talons, and drops it dead center onto Lars's goat's temple, completely crushing it in a mushroom cloud. But Endeavormark, the Antichrist, is not going down that easy. In all this chaos, he pulls Elisa into one final, absolutely terrifying confrontation.
A horrifying shout suddenly echoes from deep inside the mountain. "Elisa as a sacrifice!" Black chains burst straight out of the ground, wrapping around her and violently dragging her down into a dark subterranean crypt. She's thrown onto a sacrificial altar. Mark is standing over her, his eyes now pitch black, raising a bone sword to deliver the final fatal blow. In a moment of sheer, absolute desperation, screaming for Toivo, she remembers her last weapon. Strapped to her thigh as a silver, rune-engraved dagger, she strikes first. With everything she has left, she plunges that angelic dagger directly into Mark's heart. Instantly, this fiery vortex tears open, sucking the Antichrist and all his shadowy, possessed wizards straight down into hell, vanquishing them for good.
With the villain finally destroyed, the entire dark nightmare just vanishes. It breaks into this stunningly beautiful, peaceful reality. Elisa wakes up at the sunlit mouth of a cave. Up in the sky, those dark holograms are gone, replaced by a white, swan-shaped airplane writing Ajagabe Village in bright golden letters. The corrupted town of Aurvara is totally restored and renamed. It's now surrounded by vibrant green trees, singing birds, and colorful butterflies returning to the land. It's a total, beautiful cleansing of the corruption.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, this wildly symbolic story leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. We just watched villains use holographic satellites, microchips, and mind-altering fog to manufacture a completely false reality, only to be taken down by genuine, unwavering faith. It really makes you wonder about our own world, doesn't it? In a reality filled with digital illusions, algorithmic feeds, and all sorts of hidden influences, what forces truly ground your reality? When the world around you feels like a total mirage, where do you place your faith? It is definitely something worth chewing on. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning what you see.